All right, welcome. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Happy Thursday evening. So we do have a few things to get into. We do have a couple Eagles, Carson Wentz, trade rumors, updates. And then pretty much the rest of the show is going to be a open conversation, but I also want to talk about Howie Roseman. Kind of like the backbone, the background, the psychology, the philosophy of what exactly could possibly go on in that little man's head, to be completely honest with you. Because I'm sure if you're just like me, you're confused as all hell. But anyway, getting into the Carson Wentz trade rumor updates. So it came out today. It was reported on the Bleacher Report, that the Broncos are the latest team to show up in the trade talks. Now we've heard a little bit this and that as far as the Broncos are concerned, and we've heard that they have popped up every now and again, but just recently, apparently, they are the ones that hold the current top offer, according to this report, if this report is correct. And that offer does include KJ Hamler. What also went along in this report was that Howie Roseman does like the offer that was made from the Broncos, but he is just waiting for a counteroffer from the Colts or the Bears. And so we will just have to see what exactly goes down. And hopefully, we get a counteroffer, because that would just mean that it raises the stakes. But what do you guys feel? I do see that there is somebody watching. Please let me know what you think in the chat box. Right now, according to that report, that KJ Hamler, wide receiver KJ Hamler, is included in that trade rumor that was offered by the Broncos to go along with that first-round pick. Now, I do feel like it is worth noting that KJ Hamler was Miles Sanders' best friend at Penn State. And while we're thinking about that, let's go ahead and get into what I kind of want to talk about. Look, Howie Roseman compared Jalen Hurts to Russell Wilson. We all know that. He compared Jalen Hurts to Russell Wilson right after they drafted him. Reason why I want to get into this is because it's not the first time that Howie Roseman has done this since he's come back from the boiler room, so to say. It's not the first time that he's done this. In 2016, he drafted Donnell Pumphrey out of San Diego State. Now, Donnell Pumphrey was a great running back. At San Diego State. Set all kinds of records. Who did Howie Roseman compare Donnell Pumphrey to? Can you guys take a wild guess? Wild guess? So, Howie Roseman comes out and says, he kind of reminds me of some other backs that we have that have come through these halls. And he wasn't talking about Darren Sproles. He wasn't talking about Brian Westbrook, which in this instance it could have been. No, he was talking about LaShawn McCoy. And the reason why I bring this up is because Howie Roseman was trying to create the team that Chip Kelly destroyed. And it's funny because we all know what happened to Donnell Pumphrey. Donnell Pumphrey did not make the team. Donnell Pumphrey got absolutely walloped in the backfield, pretty much from day one in the preseason. From day one in camp, he was struggling in camp. He just did not do well at all. Now, a year later, we draft Wendell Smallwood out of West Virginia. He does it again. He pretty much says the same thing, not word for word, not quote unquote, but pretty much compares Wendell Smallwood to LaShawn McCoy. Do you guys see what I'm getting at here? Do you guys see what I'm getting at? There's some delusion that haunts Howie Roseman's brain. There is some delusion that haunts Howie Roseman's brain. And now if I'm thinking about the history of delusion, well, I mean, there's so many different pathways and villages and like little towns and rivers and valleys that delusions have, and there's so many different definitions you could have for a delusion and so many different side effects. Well, if you're stuck in the past, if you're stuck on your regrets, if you're stuck on the mistakes you made, if you're stuck on the player that you wanted to take but missed out on because you didn't take him high enough, or you waited long enough, or you waited and you missed out on him, like Russell Wilson in 2011? Then eventually you're going to come out and you're going to take a player that reminds you of Russell Wilson and you're going to compare him to Russell Wilson. Guys. It was over. It was over when he saw Jalen Hurts on the board. It was over. That's when it was over. And I thought about this a lot. When in my other stream the other night, we rewatched AJ Styles, my man. Welcome, my friend. I hope you're having a beautiful Thursday. AJ Styles says, this is crazy that the way that Carson is being treated. Yeah, I agree with you. It's absolutely insane. Look, it was over when he saw Jalen Hurts still on the board. And he had that delusion. That's Russell. And then as soon as he got that idea in his head, it was over. It was over. The question is this, though. AJ, the question is this. Is Howie going to be right or is he going to be wrong? Because here's one thing. He was right about Miles Sanders. But then again, so were we all. We all knew about Miles Sanders before Miles Sanders was drafted. We all knew very well about Miles Sanders before Miles Sanders was drafted. In fact, going into that draft, I said, I don't care if the Eagles don't have any other freaking picks. If they only come out with one pick going into that draft, and that one pick happens to be Miles Sanders, I will be a happy man. It's exactly what I said. I told everybody I knew. I was like, as long as we draft Miles Sanders, and lo and behold, we drafted Miles Sanders. So honestly, the J.J. Arcega-Whiteside pick doesn't even really bother me. The only reason why it bothers me, honestly, is because it was DK Metcalf. It could have been Miles Sanders and DK Metcalf, but we still get Miles. At least we won that. Because here's the one thing, and this I was listening to Adam Kaplan talk about this on his podcast, Inside the Birds, with Jeff Mosher. He was just saying, the Eagles were also heavily interested in J.K. Dobbins. And could you imagine the Eagles taking J.K. Dobbins instead of Miles Sanders with that pick? Could you just imagine? Oh my God. It would have been the worst firestorm of all time. It would have been like chaos on top of chaos. It would have been like 300,000 Christopher Nolan Jokers instead of just one beautifully depicted version of the Joker by the late Heath Ledger. And us fans would have been like, what the hell were you thinking, dude? What the hell were you thinking? Here's the thing. You're right, AJ. Carson is treated horribly. He's absolutely treated horribly. And there's really nothing we can do about it at this point. There's really nothing that we can do about it at this point, unfortunately. Because he already wants out. So I mean, there's no solving this situation. There's no quick fix. There's no revive potion. There's no rejuvenation potion. There's really none of that. And I wish I was wrong. But I'm not, unfortunately. But I do get the sense that we are going to go with Jalen Hurts and that they're not going to go with the quarterback. I think I've come to terms with that now, AJ. Mr. AJ Styles, I think I've come to terms with that. He saw Russell Wilson. And speaking of Russell Wilson, I mean, now there's trade reports out there that he wants to be traded. And that's insane. I mean, it really is. The only reason why I could possibly see him getting traded is because, according to those reports, he's unhappy with the fact that like he just keeps getting battered like a battering ram, and it's true. It's true. They need to find more ways to be able to protect Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson's not getting traded. But here's the thing. In an NFL world that is trending toward becoming more like the NBA world, if Russell Wilson asks for a trade, guys, Russell Wilson, of all people, is going to get traded. It's a fact. But I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. But Howie Roseman saw Russell Wilson, and so they're going to go with Jalen Hurts. And guys, he was impressive. And with a full offseason, he can only get better. It's just a matter of how much better can he get is the thing. Because we saw what Carson did from year 1 to year 2, and honestly what Carson did was absolutely astronomical. So I don't really expect him to take that quite a leap, but I do expect him to be better significantly. Smarter at the line of scrimmage. I expect him to throw the passes with a bit more accuracy. I expect him to make better reads. I expect him to get the ball out quicker. I feel like in year 2, I would like that Quez Watkins touchdown that was underthrown to be completed for a touchdown in Week 17 of the 2020 season against the Washington football team. I expect Jalen Hurts to be better. But with that said, assuming that Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy, that can kind of put our quarterback conversations to rest. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, that can put our quarterback conversations to rest. It really can. It really, really can. And while we come to that conclusion, the Eagles will have 2 first-round picks. They'll have 2 first-round picks. It's quite crazy. It's quite crazy because there are other reports out of Indianapolis. The IndyWire, I believe it's called. The Indianapolis Colts main journal. And apparently the Indianapolis Colts have not offered a first-round pick. They have offered 2 twos and a mid-round pick for Carson Wentz. They have not offered a player. They have not offered a first-round pick. They have offered 2 twos and a mid-round pick for Carson Wentz. But there's also reports on the other side of the fence saying that the Colts want a picker player in return. So the Colts aren't necessarily pricing him right, in my opinion. Guys, I know Carson Wentz is going to return to form. I know that for a fact. It's funny because I thought about this all day. I was like, Carson Wentz in his rookie season threw 16 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. And he had the fumbles too. He had those fumbles as well. You know what I'm saying? And then from then on, season 2, obviously 2017, 33-7. 2018, it was 21-7. AJ Styles says, I am still a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I know you are. I would hope you are. You better be. Look, that's our job. To be Philadelphia Eagles fans. Our job is to be Philadelphia Eagles fans through thick and thin. This is just part of the job, baby. It's part of the job, AJ. When we go through things like this, we're better for it when we come out on the other side. And if the other side means a Howie Roseman-less Philadelphia Eagles, then the fans were the smarter all along. Look, Philadelphia Eagles fan base, we can get crazy, we can get wild, we can throw snowballs at Santa Claus. We can, set restaurants on fire. We can do a lot of things for our football team, and we have. We have the annals of history when it comes to Philadelphia Eagle fandom don't necessarily look pretty. It doesn't paint a good picture for us in terms of being a community, respecting the community. But we're smart. We know what the fuck we're talking about. And so because we're smart, if the front office tries to fool us, we can see right through them. We can see right through you. It's that simple. And AJ, that is exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to fool us. Howie Roseman has no pulse on this fan base whatsoever. He never has. He tries to act like he does. He doesn't. He's never had one. Look, it's funny because I was listening to Sal Paolantonio, and Sal Paolantonio has been around for a long time. Been covering the Eagles for a long time. And I got to tell you, over the last year, I can't make sense of anything that Sal Paolantonio says. It's like, really? You think that is what's going on? I was listening to Sal Paolantonio today, and he thinks that the majority of the Eagles fans still absolutely hate Carson and have already moved on. Let me tell you something. I understand where he's coming from, but I can't. That's not my experience. That's not my experience with guys like you, AJ. That's not my experience with guys like King or Franklin or Enterzone. It's like or anybody else who has joined in, or any other listener. That's not my experience. Or with anybody else that I've talked to. We haven't moved on. We're pissed off. Look, here's the thing. Yeah, we gave it hard to Carson Wentz. We gave it really hard to him because he did not play well. But we're not stupid, guys. We're not stupid. The man had one bad season out of the 5 seasons that he played. One out of 5. That means that Carson has, for every bad season he has 4 great fucking seasons. 4. He broke records in each of the seasons that he played, except for this one. And so what that means is that if Carson Wentz were to stay an Eagle for next year and the year after that and the year after that, well, let's just start with next year. Carson Wentz threw 16 touchdowns and 14 interceptions as a rookie in 2016. And then he had a fucking great year in 2017. He threw 16 touchdowns and 15 interceptions this year. And still had the fumbles, just like his rookie season. Carson basically just had another rookie season. And if that's the case, like if we're looking at it on paper, then it means that Carson is going to have an MVP season next year. But will that actually happen? Am I actually saying that? No, but I'll tell you this. If he goes to Indianapolis with Frank Reich, he's going to have an MVP season next year. But listen, this is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. All I really wanted to do was just come on here, talk a little bit about the updates, get a little bit out of the way, get some feelings out there, because I'm starting to feel like I have a better pulse of where Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie are going with this team. And I'll tell you what I mean. Today, the Philadelphia Eagles announced the totality of Nick Sirianni's coaching staff. Passing game coordinator Kevin Patullo. Head coach, well, let's do this. Head coach Nick Sirianni. Offensive coordinator Shane Steichen. Defense coordinator Jonathan Gannon. Passing game coordinator Kevin Patullo. Running backs coach Jamal Singleton. Running backs coach, assistant head coach Jamal Singleton. And those are pretty much the main guys. Quarterback coach Brian Johnson. You know? So they're all young. And they're all outsourced. They're all outsourced. There was no in-house promotions. It gives me the feeling of a complete rebranding. And with that said, I will let you think about that. And I will join you the next time. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. Have a beautiful Thursday evening. AJ, stay safe,